arrive to school, just like any other day. You go to say hi to one of your best friends, but she has a funny look in her eye. Before you can say anything, she starts. Hey, can you look for my body? And then she all but disappears. Knowing she's not really one to make those kind of jokes, you try and ask the rest of your friend group what they think. But it turns out that she made the same request to all of them, and they're just as weirded out. You all go home and try to forget about all the weirdness, but you stay feeling rather unsettled. Even texting your friends leaves you feeling a little bit spooked for some reason, so you decide to just go to bed. You wake up, cold and sweaty, quite literally, in front of your school. Did you sleepwalk? No. Because as you look around, the rest of your friend group is also there. Things are getting a little bit heated as your friends start to argue, and suddenly, the front door to the main building swings open. A little bit confused, you all silently creep towards the foreboding entrance. So, what's going on? This is a horror manga called Karada Sagashi. And in this video, I want to talk about what happens in what I like to refer to as part 1. This is a Jump Plus series you can see here, and it was published from 2014 to 2017, spanning a total of 17 volumes. And this part 1 covers volumes 1 through 7. I will say I haven't been able to get my hands on volumes 12 through 17, so I haven't read the whole series yet, which is why I'm only going to be talking about part 1 in this video. On the scariness meter, I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I would say that this manga is pretty up there in terms of both premise and visual horror, in that the themes and just like the general idea of it is rather spooky, and then also there's some scary imagery in here. So if you're not a fan of gore, of supernatural stories, of just creepy things, I would stay away from it. The main villain is literally called the Red Person, as they are always drenched in red. Not just the body horror though, this manga constantly has a scary, kind of on edge atmosphere. While there are quite a bit of like lighthearted, actually kind of funny scenes, it'll be like one page is a happy scene, you flip over and it's terrifying. So while reading, I always found myself kind of on edge thinking like, this scene is a little bit too happy, it's a little bit too lighthearted, like something bad is gonna happen, I just don't know when. And usually something bad did happen. So my my instinct typically was right with this one. So really, what's it about? The basis of this manga is actually explained very, very clearly in chapter 1 of this volume. So chapter 1, volume 1, if you read it, you basically know what's happening, which is really nice in a horror manga. Though there is still mystery throughout the first 7 volumes to keep you entertained. The first part of the mystery is well explained in chapter 1. So in a certain high school, so the high school that our characters attend, there's a popular urban legend circulating around students. And that is, if you find yourself alone in the school portable after classes, and if a strange little girl asks you to play with her, you'll be forced to play a game with her, unless you know how to evade her. And what is the game, you may be wondering? She will split your body up into 8 pieces and force you to choose 6 people to help find it. And when I say help, I mean you will not be helping. You're not a part of the game. You're just a catalyst for the game to begin. And the game I will from henceforth be referring to as the body search has 9 known rules as of volume 1, chapter 1. And they are: number 1, the red person appears in the school building after classes end. Number 2, the red person appears in front of students who are alone. Number 3, students who have seen the red person cannot turn around until passing through the school gates. Number 4, those that do turn around instantly will have their bodies split up into 8 pieces and hidden around the school. So you have to find a way to leave the school without turning around. So you may have to walk backwards. Number 5, those who get ended by the red person will appear in front of everybody the next day, telling them to search for their body. Number 6, you cannot decline participating in a body search. Number 7, the red person will always appear during a body search. Number 8, the body search will absolutely continue until the full body is found. So all 8 pieces must be found. And number 9, even if you are ended during a body search, you will still come back the next day. So losing in the game doesn't mean you lose in real life. You're brought back. So, for example, if the little girl chooses you to play the game, you'll be forced to ask 6 of your friends to search for your body. Every day on repeat, you have to go to them and ask them to find your body until they find all of the pieces. The day will continuously reset. If you ask somebody to play, they have to play. They can't say no. And you don't really wait for a response. They just ask, "Can you search for my body?" Goodbye. And you're instantly sucked into the game. It doesn't matter if you verbally agree or not, you're forced to play. So, volume 1 of this manga starts with a girl named Haruka asking 6 of her friends to search for her body, and they ultimately end up transported onto school grounds after going to bed that night. They all enter the lobby of the school building, where they hear the announcement over the PA system in the school. The red person has been spotted in the school lobby. Please take care. This is when they're met face to face with the red person, a little girl covered in red from head to toe. And if you think that a little girl can't be that scary, think again. She's probably one of the most horrifying manga villains I've seen in a while, honestly. And she takes out our main cast in the blink of an eye on their first night. And after being taken out, each of our characters wake up in their own bed that same morning. So the day just loops back to the beginning. While at first, they don't really realize the day has looped back, they all collectively chalk it up to having bad dreams. But they each have lasting scars from the event of the previous night. So, like, if one of them had their arm grabbed the previous night, they would have woken up with an imprint of somebody's hand on their arm. And just like the previous day at school, a little bit later on, Haruka finds each of them and asks them to search for her body and disappears. So while the days are looping, the ways that Haruka asks them to search for her body differ each day. Throughout the volumes, so not just volume 1, but throughout, that's upside down. Throughout, not just volume 1, but all the first 7 volumes, the gang of friends very slowly work to find all of the parts of her body while avoiding the red person at night, and try their best to stop Haruka from asking them to play the game in the first place during the day. Because if they're not asked to play, they don't have to play that night. Each time the group loses the game, the day just resets. But it only resets after everybody playing loses. And just about everything every single day is the same, except for Haruka. She seems to find new, really, really, really disturbing ways to invite them to play the game each day, as in like appearing on ceilings, like in the washroom right after you take a shower, like you open the curtains and she's just there. Level creepy. And no matter what they do to stop her, and they do some pretty crazy things to stop her, she always has a way to find them and ask them to play. Extra spoilers for part 1 from here on out. So if you are interested in reading it and still want kind of to solve the mystery by yourself, stop watching here. Every time one of the body parts are found and brought to a designated area, which is kind of like a coffin, it stays there come the next day, even though it's just a loop. So it doesn't matter whether the group lost the round or not. If, say, like a forearm is found and brought into the coffin and then everybody loses, the forearm stays there. The setting does not reset. Just the players get sent back to the beginning. One thing that does change, though, both in the days and nights, is one of our main characters named Kenshi. While all of the characters slowly grow to be more and more anxious and then kind of act out accordingly, so they're getting a little bit aggressive with each other. There's some infighting, things, nobody's happy, and why would you be? Kenshi's anxiety and strange behavior ramps up at a concerningly quick level, like really, really fast. He does some incredibly terrible things that I'm not going to say on camera to his friends, and eventually turns into this kind of existence that's even scarier than the red person. He, just like the red person, takes out anybody he comes across. He doesn't care. The only difference is that when the red person changes locations, an announcement is made over the PA system. So if say she goes to like the library, as soon as she appears in the library, there'll be a PA announcement saying like, "Attention, the red person's in the library. Please take care." Kenshi, because he's a player of the game, he can just move freely. There's no announcements. So he's a little bit scarier because you never know where he is. So why does Kenshi go crazy? Major spoilers, but it all ties back to the red person. A long, long time ago, the red person was just a normal little girl living a normal life. And she unfortunately met her fate at the hands of Kenshi's grandfather's brother. And so his grandfather was the one who found both the little girl and her twin sister, and that grandfather forever blamed himself for not being able to save them from his brother. So now, Kenshi's bloodline has caused him to be possessed by spirits. It seems like he was always kind of having a disposition. Deposition? He spirits like him. He's easily influenced, is what I'm trying to say. So already being so easily influenced, being in such a situation, he was the most vulnerable for something to happen. But it's revealed that when he's kind of being possessed and forced to do such awful things, he's awake. Like he's fully awake in his mind and he can watch everything that's happening, but he can't move his body. It's like his body is being taken over by something and he's just kind of in the backseat watching it all go down. So he's had to watch himself do horrific things to his friends night after night. And it takes a great toll on his mental health because obviously. And so during the day, he ends up not going to school anymore. He just keeps himself shut away in his room because he feels so terrible about what he's been doing to his friends. But what happens when all 8 body parts are found? More spoilers. And this is what happens at the end of volume 6, I think it was, when all 8 body parts are found. So this mystery actually had me pretty upset when it was revealed. So when playing the body search game, even if a player loses, they don't really lose because the day just resets. After everybody loses, the day resets and you go again. They all still wake up the morning and everything just goes back. They just keep looping. This rule, it turns out, also applies when all 8 body parts are discovered. However, to finally be able to move on to the next actual day and break the time loop, someone needs to enter the coffin where all of 8 body parts are eventually put back together. So what happens is all 8 body parts are put into the coffin. The girl, whose body was cut into 8, Haruka, comes back to life and gets up, basically. It was a little bit strange. And she explains that somebody needs to take her place and lie down in the coffin so that the day can progress. But she doesn't say why. We never learn why. Well, we do, but our characters never learn why until it's too late. So our lovely main character is the one who ends up lying down in the coffin because she was one of 2 surviving players. Everybody else had lost the game. Only 2 of them were left. And she was just closest to the coffin, so she hopped right in. And in doing so, all players who lose on the final night awaken the next day, perfectly fine, brand new day, shiny happy, with no memory of playing the game and no memory of the person who entered the coffin. So even if they were best friends, and they kind of were, the next day, because they lost the game and she went into the coffin, wiped from their memory. They are kind of awful to her. They act like, well, it's not an act, like they genuinely do not remember her, do not remember what they went through. Like, who are you? Like, stay away from me. Those that did not lose the game, it seems, do remember those who entered the coffin because we can kind of see what's going on. So if you win, I guess, if you don't lose the game and you don't go in the coffin, so if you're just chilling in the school when it happens and the game is won, everybody remembers you. You're fine. If you win the game, so if you don't lose and you go into the coffin, you're forgotten by everybody. Like you're forgotten. If you lose the game, you forget the person who entered the coffin, but you'll remember everybody else. It's super duper complicated. Basically, all you need to know is that our main character was forgotten by basically everybody except for her love interest, which is kind of it's fitting, I guess. And it's not explained like at all. It's almost explained twice, and then it's not. It's a big surprise. I was so upset when it happened. And she was my favorite character too. And yeah, that's part one of Karada Sagashi. There are a couple parts that I kind of left out because I do think it's fun to read it and experience it for yourself because it is a really, really good mystery. And you can read the first part in just 7 volumes, and it's not that's not that many. That's like you can do that in a day. It's very good. I highly recommend it.